What just happened in Chicago has the entire NFL looking straight at Soldier Field. A defensive player who shook up the Packers is now facing the consequences, while the organization scrambles with last-minute moves that could define our Super Bowl run. And hold on, because what's happening on the offensive line has everyone wondering if we're really ready to face San Francisco. 3 stories shaking up Chi-Town in the last few hours, and I guarantee each one of these decisions is going to directly impact our playoff chances. Don't go anywhere, because what's coming is straight up explosive. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Austin Booker just got slapped with an $11,000-600-630-$6 fine for the separate hits on Jordan Love last Saturday. And you know what? I think this is exactly what we needed to see from this defense. Let me break it down. This kid, Booker, 5th round pick in 2024, number 104 overall, is showing exactly the kind of mindset Chicago needs. 3.5 sacks in his rookie season, 29 combined tackles, 1 forced fumble. But more importantly, and hear me out, this dude is playing with the kind of fire we haven't seen since Khalil Mack was in his prime. Now, let's talk about the hit that knocked Love out of the game. Second quarter, 1st and 10, the pocket collapses. Booker comes flying off the left edge and boom, helmet-to-helmet contact. 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness. Love goes straight into concussion protocol and doesn't return. Packers lose their starting QB. We win 22-16 in overtime. But here's what nobody's talking about. Let me ask you this. Did you watch the full play? Because I did, and let me tell you, Love ducked right before the hit. Booker was already committed to the tackle. The QB lowers his level, and the result is helmet-to-helmet. The NFL says Booker led with the crown of his helmet, and technically they're right. But I'm telling you, in real-time game speed, with a collapsing pocket, that's a bang-bang play. $11,636, no suspension, and you know what I think? That's a fair outcome, because look, here in Chicago, we respect clean football, we respect player safety, but we also need a defense that hits hard. That makes quarterbacks think twice before standing tall in the pocket. Dennis Allen has built something special here. 31 takeaways this season, most in the NFL, 21 interceptions, leading the league. And now we've got a rookie defensive end who's willing to leave it all on the field. Booker is 23 in his first year, and already showing he gets what it means to wear navy and orange. But here's the real question. Is this the kind of physical intensity we need to carry into the playoffs? I think so. I think when January hits, when the temps drop and the games get nasty, we're gonna need exactly this kind of edge on our D-line. Look what happened after that hit. The Packers had to roll with their backup, lost all offensive rhythm, and we capitalized. That's the difference between teams that talk playoffs and teams that win in the playoffs. Chicago's defense has to be feared. It has to make offensive coordinators rethink their game plans. And speaking of game plans, Booker has started 7 games this season. 7 games where he's proven he can be a disruptive force. But here's the kicker with all the injuries we've had on the D-line. Edmonds missing time, Johnson out, Gordon banged up. Booker's had to take on way more than your average 5th-round rookie. Let me ask you, how many rookie 5th-round defensive ends are making this kind of impact on playoff teams? Not many, and the fact that Booker is producing while learning, while adjusting to NFL speed, while going up against the best tackles in the league, that tells me Ryan Poles found another gem in the draft. $11,636 is a price Booker will pay without blinking, because that hit, those 2 plays on Love, sent a message to the entire NFC North. Chicago's not here to play nice. Chicago's here to win a championship. And if that means playing on the edge, if that means our defensive ends are going full throttle until the whistle, then I'm all in. Chicago's defensive tradition, from Urlacher to Peppers to Hicks, has always been about physical intimidation. Within the rules, Booker is carrying that torch, and you know what else? The Packers now have to face Baltimore without Love. That gives us a potential edge in the divisional race, because at the end of the day, that fine is just a number on paper. What really matters is that Austin Booker showed he's ready for the moment. He showed he's not scared of big names, that he steps up when it counts, and that he's willing to pay the price literally and figuratively to help this team win. Now let me talk about something that's got the whole city dreaming. 3 concrete, verifiable, stat-backed reasons why the Chicago Bears can win the Super Bowl this year. And I'm not talking hopes or hype, I'm talking facts. First reason, our dominant run game. And when I say dominant, I'm not exaggerating one bit. since Week 5. After the bye, Chicago leads the entire NFL in rushing yards per game. 170.2 yards per game, 6 more than the second-best team, the Ravens. Let me say that again, we're running the ball better than Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But here's what really fires me up. Before the bye, we're averaging just 100 point to rushing yards per game. That's a jump of 68 yards per game. 68 yards that are completely changing our offensive identity. And you know why this is happening? Because our offensive line, completely rebuilt at the start of the season, finally has chemistry. Ben Johnson said it best before the Packers game. It took a little time for the O-line and backs to get on the same page, but since the bye, we've been locked in and everyone knows the mission. PFF Pro Football Focus has our O-line ranked second in the entire league right now. Second. After starting the season trying to find their rhythm, these guys have turned into a run-blocking machine. And let's talk about the backs. Dander Swift for 0.9 yards per carry, top 20 in the league among starters. Kyle Monange, rookie, 7th rounder out of Rutgers, for 0.7 yards per carry. Also top 20 to backs with totally different style. Swift with the burst, Monange with the power, and both producing at an elite level. Let me ask you, how many playoff teams have the backs averaging over 4.5 yards per carry? Not many. And in January, when Chicago turns into a frozen battlefield, that run game is going to be our deadliest weapon. Second reason, a defense with a nose for the ball. And this is where it gets really interesting, because look, our defense isn't perfect. We're bottom 10 in forced punts per game, just 3.1. Didn't force a single punt against the Packers last week. We're giving up 23.6 points per game, ranked 19th out of 32. But here's the trick, this defense knows how to create turnovers. 31 takeaways this season, most in the NFL, 21 interceptions, leading the league. Tied for third with 10 fumble recoveries, including that massive goal line stop against Green Bay. Kevin Byard leads the NFL with 6 picks. Nahshon Wright is tied for second with 5. Tremaine Edmonds has 4 in just 11 games. And Wright, let me talk about Wright. This dude started the season on the practice squad. And now he leads the entire league in total takeaways, 5 picks, 3 fumble recoveries. Let me ask you, remember that 2018 Bears defense? The monsters of the Midway, they lived off turnovers too, and that year, we went 12-4 with Trubisky at QB. Imagine what we can do now with a much more balanced and effective offense. And we've done all this without being at full strength. Edmonds missed time, Johnson missed games, Gordon banged up, Edwards out, Booker dealing with stuff. Odang missed time, Turner hurt. Dennis Allen has had to work magic with rotations, and we're still leading the league in takeaways. Because in the playoffs, I'll tell you this, the team that wins the turnover battle usually wins the game. And we've got a turnover margin of plus 21, best in the NFL. That's not luck, that's culture. That's Dennis Allen building a system that creates takeaways. Third reason, clutch special teams. And when I say clutch, I mean game on the line moments. Cairo Santos has hit to game-winning field goals as time expired while we were trailing. Week 6 against the Commanders with Jake Moody. Week 11 against the Vikings with Santos. Santos just won NFC Special Teams Player of the Week for his performance against the Packers. 3 field goals over 43 yards, all with the uprights swaying in the wind. Brutal conditions, max pressure, and he nails everyone. And speaking of the Packers, we recovered an onside kick, executed by Santos and recovered by Josh Blackwell. The broadcast said teams were for dash 40-8 on onside kicks this season. For out of 48, less than 10%, and Blackwell got it. The same Blackwell who blocked a game-winning field goal against the Raiders in Week 3. Even our kickoffs have helped us win games. Before Santos' game winner against the Vikings, it was set up by a huge return from Devin Duvernay thanks to a monster block from Blackwell. This dude is everywhere on special teams. Let me ask you, how many teams have a kicker you can trust in high-pressure moments? And a coverage unit that makes game-winning plays? Not many, and in the playoffs, when every possession counts, elite special teams can be the difference between going home and moving on. Now let's put it all together. A run game that's leading the league since the bye, a defense creating turnovers at a historic rate, special teams that win games in crunch time, and you know what else? We only had 3 Pro Bowlers, Thuney, Dowman, and Byard. 3. That means we're not the most talented team on paper, but in the playoffs, individual talent doesn't always win. What wins is controlling time of possession. Wherefore, in the league, What wins is turnover margin? We're first with plus 21. What wins is dominating field position and with our special teams and defense creating turnovers. We're doing just that. Ben Johnson is a rookie head coach. Sure, but this guy gets it. He knows that in January, you don't win with flashy plays or trick shots. You win by running the ball, protecting the ball, and taking it away on defense. That's the formula, and we're executing it better than almost anyone in the league. The NFL is wide open this year. No dominant super team, no clear favorite. And I'm telling you, if we keep playing like this, if our O-line keeps dominating, if our defense keeps taking the ball away, if Cairo Santos keeps coming through, why not the Bears? 11-4, playoffs locked in. We can win the NFC North with a win over San Francisco or a Packers loss to Baltimore. We're right where we need to be. And with these three strengths, with this perfect balance of offense, defense, and special teams, I believe this team has everything it takes to go all the way. Now we get to the news that's got everyone on edge heading into the San Francisco game. Darnell Wright, our starting right tackle, was added to the injury report on Saturday with an illness. He didn't travel with the team and is officially listed as questionable for Sunday. Wright, the 10th overall pick in the 2023 draft, has started all 47 games he's played for the Bears, 47 out of 47. This guy hasn't missed a single start since arriving in Chicago. And now, right when we're about to face one of the most physical defensive lines in the league, we might not have him. Let me ask you, can you believe the timing of this? Because I can't. 11-4, playoffs clinched, division title within reach. And our starting right tackle, the anchor of an O-line ranked second in the league, doesn't make the trip because of illness. Now, the organization made some moves to prepare. They activated Luke Newman off injured reserve. Newman, 23 years old, 6th-round pick out of Michigan State, played in 9 games this season before injuring his foot in Week 12. He's now back on the 53-man roster. To make room, they released defensive tackle Jonathan Ford. Ford, 26, appeared in 8 games this season. They also elevated cornerback Dallas Flowers and wide receiver J.P. Richardson from the practice squad. Flowers has played in 1 game this year. Richardson hasn't made his NFL debut yet. But here's what really worries me. Newman's got talent, no doubt, but he's been out since Week 12 with that foot injury. He hasn't played in over a month. And now he might have to protect the right side against Nick Bosa and that nasty Niners front. That's a tall order for any player, let alone one just coming off injury. Chicago's offensive line has been the #1 reason our run game has exploded since the bye. Thuney and Dalman made the Pro Bowl. The chemistry between the 5 starters has been the key to our success on the ground. And now, right when we need it most, that chemistry might take a hit. San Francisco's defense is one of the most physical in the NFL. Their D-line is brutal against the run. And we've built our entire offensive identity around pounding the rock. If we have to do that without our starting right tackle, that changes everything in the game plan. I think Ben Johnson's going to have to get creative. He'll need to use more tight end help on the right side. He'll need to design plays that get Swift and Monange running left behind Thuney. He'll need to adjust the entire pass protection scheme. And here's the other concern: if Wright can't go and Newman has to step in cold after a month off, how effective can we be in third and short situations? Because those are the moments where you need raw power on the O-line. You need to be able to say, we're running it right here, try and stop us. Without Wright, that confidence takes a hit. But you know what? This team has shown resilience all year. We've played without Edmonds, without Johnson, without Gordon, without Edwards. The defense has rotated guys nonstop and still leads the league in takeaways. Now the offense has to show that same grit. Newman's got potential. He was a 6th-round pick. But he's flashed when he's played. And the truth is, in the NFL, especially on contending teams, you've got to have depth. You've got to be able to absorb injuries and keep winning. That's what separates pretenders from real contenders. The Niners are waiting. They know we might be without Wright. They're gonna attack that right side all night. They're gonna throw their best pass rushers at Newman. They're gonna test whether a backup tackle fresh off injury can handle the heat. And you know what else? This is exactly the kind of adversity you have to overcome if you want to win a Super Bowl. Because in the playoffs, every team is dealing with injuries. Every team has to make adjustments. The difference is who can execute better with the hand they've been dealt. I trust Ben Johnson to have a plan. I trust Newman to give it everything he's got. I trust Thuney, Dalman, and the rest of the line to raise their level. And I trust Swift and Monange to find ways to be productive even if the holes aren't as wide as they've been lately, but I won't lie, this news has me concerned. Wright has been a rock for us. 47 straight starts is no accident. That kind of consistency is priceless. And losing him even for one game against a team like San Francisco at this point in the season is a big blow. Activating Newman, releasing Ford, elevating Flowers and Richardson, those are all necessary moves. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to whether we can protect and open lanes without our starting right tackle. That's the question that's going to define this game. So there you have it, Bears family, 3 stories shaping our week. Austin Booker fine but showing the fire we need. 3 rock-solid reasons why we can win the Super Bowl. And real concern about Darnell Wright heading into San Francisco. Now, I want to hear from you. Was the fine on Booker fair or too harsh for a bang-bang play? Which of the 3 strengths I mentioned, run game, turnovers, or special teams, do you think will matter most in the playoffs? And can Luke Newman and the O-line hold it down without Wright against the 49ers? Drop your answers in the comments. I want to know what Bear Nation thinks about all this, because this community, you showing up week after week, is the reason I do this. We're a family united by Navy and Orange, by love for this team, by the belief that this is our year. If you agree with my take on Booker, hit that like button. If you believe we can win the Super Bowl with these 3 strengths, subscribe to the channel. And if you trust the O-line to step up without Wright, share this video with other Bears fans, because I promise you tomorrow's gonna bring even more breaking news. This season is far from over, and every day brings new twists that impact our championship hopes. You do not want to miss what's coming for Chicago. So make sure your notifications are on, make sure you're subscribed, because when the Bears make their next move, when we get updates on Wright, when we know more about our playoff path, you'll be the first to hear it right here. Bear down family, 11-4, playoffs locked in, division within reach, and a Super Bowl closer than most people think. I'll see you in the next video with more exclusive breakdowns of your Chicago Bears.